Martin was taking Michelle to a scientific meeting. She is a famous physicist who has made an invaluable contribution to science. When they stopped outside the building, Michelle got out of the car and got into conversation with another famous physicist named Kyle. She tried to prove to him that she was right on one issue, but she did not succeed. Kyle pressed her with arguments. Then Martin stood up for Michelle, who gave many arguments on this issue, and Kyle couldn't agree with them. "Martin, you surprise me. Where did you get such knowledge in physics?" Michelle asked. "I have been fond of it for a long time, and I constantly read scientific articles." Michelle was impressed, but Kyle was rude to the guy. "No matters. Who allowed you to interfere in our conversation?" The man grumbled. "I'm sorry," man replied quietly and lowered his head. Michelle didn't like this treatment for her driver. There was still a whole hour before her performance, and she invited Martin to have lunch. Over lunch, she learned that Martin loves science and really wanted to go to university. But he grew up in an orphanage, and there was not very good education there. He had to study everything himself in the library in the evenings. Therefore, he had little chance of entering a prestigious university. Then he decided to take part in a scientific competition. He diligently prepared for it for several months. But his supervisor brazenly appropriated Martin's work to himself and got a big name in scientific circles. That supervisor was Kyle. "That's why I'm working as a driver now to earn my education," Martin said. Michelle, after listening to his story, was amazed. She did not expect such meanness from her colleague. "Martin, today I invite you to listen to my report. If you like physics so much, then I must do my best to help you gain knowledge for studying at the university." When Martin and Michelle entered the building, the driver felt a lot of disapproving stares. Everyone was whispering and looking at him. The guy wanted to escape from there, but Michelle said she would be pleased if he stayed and listened to her report. When she finished, they started asking her questions. Michelle smiled and said, "I didn't think that at such a serious event I would be asked such frivolous questions that even my driver would be able to answer." She invited Martin to the stage, and although the guy felt uncomfortable, he answered all the questions correctly. Excitement broke out among the physicists in the hall. Everyone wanted to somehow hurt the driver, but they did not succeed. Martin was a talented physicist who was simply not allowed to break through. After his speech, the rector approached the guy, who was very impressed with Martin's knowledge. He invited him to study with him and also asked if Martin had any scientific papers on projects. And then Michelle stood up for him. She told him that Kyle stole Martin's work a couple of years ago. At first, no one believed her, but Martin presented evidence in the form of his notes in a notebook that he always carried with him. A real scandal broke out, which subsequently resulted in the fact that Martin was recognized in scientific circles and Kyle was deprived of many awards. Michelle was happy for the guy, and they often began to perform together with joint scientific projects. The path of lies leads to the abyss, and only vile people choose such a life path for themselves. The truth always triumphs, so your goals should be achieved only by honest means.